Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight. Let us recap the previous episode, if we might. Episode 20 was a little bit fraught. The evening continued, wherein Aidy, Sisk, and Bren had some disagreements between each other regarding what Mira being late to coming home to the safe house might mean. There was worry, confusion, and then there was a knock at the door. And it wasn't Mira, but it was Violet returning home, having rushed to return hosts a very successful outing that hopefully we'll get to dive into a little bit more this evening. Also with a relative in tow, their Aunt Wren. Aunt on Violet's mother's side, mind you. But Mira was still missing. And so they sought Wren's assistance, or rather, Wren kind of volunteered her assistance and forced her assistance upon them, and went in search of Mira. They discovered, after a little bit of investigation, a little bit of interrogation, that Mira had been taken whilst at the Illuminated Heart. She had been returned to Occam, where the Nostromo were seeming to perform an investigation of their own. Some might call it an inquisition, in fact, where they believed, likely still do, that the University of Occam is housing willfully cursed people, those with arcane gifts that do not fall within society's definitions of what is allowed. Mira seemingly had intervened in some capacity and been taken prisoner. And so our group of friends went off in search to try to rescue her. Hey, there's Stacy UK. Thanks for joining us, Stacy. And they thought they had at first, before they realized that some of their information perhaps had been a little bit confusing. It wasn't Mira, in fact, that they rescued immediately, but another student at the university, a very unique individual by the name of Oriana. They proceeded in rescuing Oriana, who had some information about Mira, and thanks to some of her guidance, were able to continue stealthily making their way through Occam. Seeing the direness of the situation with each step, they proceeded along the path before them, and finally, once reaching the upper levels of one of the tallest towers of the university, they met some of the Nostromo. Much discussion was had about how to intervene and what to do next in order to rescue Mira, who ostensibly was being interrogated behind a closed door. But in the end, it came down to Bren taking charge, as it were, commanding everyone to hide, and then charging off down the hallway by himself, producing a token, a granted boon by the clergy thanks to a long ago past virtue trial. And thanks to that boon, Bren was able to convince the majority of the Nostromo that were present that there was a more dangerous threat in the lower levels of the tower. Conversation proceeded between Bren and the one remaining guard. A jaw might have been fractured, and it wasn't Bren's after that, but they were able to retrieve an unconscious Mira bruised and battered, and then proceeded to make their escape by jumping out a window, no less. Because, that's what the window was put there for, right? I mean, surely. And as they made their way with Mira back to their safe house, contemplating the Nostromo situation and what it might mean for the future, we find ourselves returning to the safety, perhaps just a couple of hours before sun's rise. You are all starting to feel a good bit of the exhaustion setting in now. What is it that you would all like to do?
Is Mira still unconscious?
Yeah, she's going to be for probably a good few hours.
Okay. I mean, I think we need to take it easy for a bit. Keep laying low, obviously.
Are we back in the sewer?
I'm assuming you went to the safe house. Yeah.
Sewer was great, but it smells just a little better here.
It's a little off.
Not much, but I think Aidy would probably just stay with Mira. Maybe attempting to rest, but would probably wake at the slightest sound.
Does anyone want to do anything other than rest? I will ask.
Violet will walk up to Jawline.
Who's laying on the ground. Just, oh God. His eyes are closed, so you're gonna have to kick him.
She does.
Yeah. Yep. Hey there, Violet.
What the fuck was that?
What do you mean?
You can't just leave us and not tell us what you're doing. That's fucking reckless.
He's kind of still from laying on the ground, kind of looks at Vi. Okay, I apologize that I wasn't up front, but a group of us standing in a hallway gawking at each other trying to figure out what to do next wasn't the plan either.
Yeah, but there were rooms. We could have pulled into a room. We could have talked about it. I'm glad it went well, but that could have gone sideways quick.
But it didn't.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if we sat there and kept talking, whether in a room or not, it would have gone sideways a lot faster.
I don't like it, Jawline.
I didn't like it either. But I'm not disagreeing with you.
You could have died. You didn't know what you were walking into. I didn't know what you were walking into. I just got back.
I know. But if the situation calls for one over all, I'm going to take that bet every single time, especially if that one is myself.
Yeah, but you don't get to decide for all. That's the thing.
No, I don't. You're right. But I do get to decide for one, and that's what I did. If it went sideways, the four of you are smart enough to where you would have figured it out. But we needed something to happen, and I made it happen.
I'm not arguing
right.
about the results. I'm arguing about how it happened.
Yeah, I know it's not the best, and I'm sorry. And you're right, you did just get back. So why would I push you right in the heat of danger?
At least just talk to me.
We're talking now.
If it went sideways, we wouldn't get that chance.
I don't know.
I just want you to talk to me. That's all.
What do you want to know? I'm here.
What's been happening for the past month?
A lot. Okay, so we're closer to figuring out how to get out of here. In between that, there was some nonsense with the Nostromo. My friend Sisk was a part of that. Your friend, you were a part of that, and that got in the way of a lot of things. In addition to that, your friend, my friend, and all of our friends, Aidy, had a secret that came out. Apparently, she had a double life, and it was crazy. And so, in order for us to help her friends and to help Sisk's friend, we had to go barreling into that. And then, you know what? And then sits up. And then after that, okay, after all of that, being the fear of getting killed by the Nostromo, the fear of getting killed by some reckless gambling gangsters because our young friend wanted a thrill, and then having to deal with their sister and their emotions with that, and not to mention their sister's partner or lack thereof coming in and out, and their family showing up and them having to go out because they don't want to get caught by the same Nostromo who was looking for everyone else. And if that wasn't enough, and this is not your fault, but if that wasn't enough, their parents are still coming and they know nothing. And then their brightest star between the two, because from what I can gather, Aidy feels like she's worth nothing when she's worth so much more, and Mira's just trying to protect her feelings, thinks that this is all gonna be rushed away by just whisking off on a magical bolt in the air, when no one, I feel, is taking the severity of each of these situations. And all I wanted to do, all I ever wanted to do until now, is to sit in my chair and ask me, Vi, can I do that now? Ask me. Go on. I'm waiting. That's fine. No, I can't. You know why? Because I had a fit. With all of this frustration and keeping everything inside of myself together and hopefully holding the strings while everyone figures their things out, I had a moment. And now I have a new skylight in my farm home. So that's what's going on. And I'm fine. I just fell out of a building, half stabbed, brandishing the one thing that I hate the most in this world, next to cashews for some reason. And now, my little quiet life, that was going to be even quieter with me just whisking away in the end, has been painted in red. So that's what's going on.
Father will just give you a hug. And in that hug, we'll say, thanks for talking to me. Thanks for sharing. You hold a lot. You're holding a lot and you don't talk. And that's not okay. I know before all of this, you'd be at your farm alone and we'd come visit you. Fig and I would come visit you because we knew you were not good alone. And I was worried that when I was gone, you wouldn't talk. You wouldn't share how you're feeling, what you're going through with anybody.
I never really needed to before this. I ate a guy at one point.
What?
Yeah, I turned into a shark and I ate a guy. Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It was fun. Don't be sorry. Be sorry for them, not for me. I guess I'm not used to all of this, and it's really happening very fast, very fast. And I don't really know what's going to happen next, which is kind of exciting, but then at the same time is extremely worrying because it's not just me anymore. So to bring it back, Vi, that's why I made the decision in that hallway. Up until that point, everything that I've done, every step that I've that I've taken has been in the thought of Aidy and Mira and now Sisk. And it's always been in thought of you, even when you were away. And that single decision I made for myself, as selfish as it could be, was still made in the hopes that you all would be fine, whether I wasn't.
I understand where you're coming from, but I just don't want you to make my decisions for me. I don't want you to feel like you can do that, because you're not allowed to just walk into danger on my behalf without talking to me first, period. And like, you're not allowed to just die. That's not okay with me.
I appreciate that. The next
Just
time I
promise
walk
to
into
keep
danger,
talking to me.
I will.
At least
I will. As long as I'm here, I will. We'll make a thing of it. We'll round out the day.
Okay.
Anything else? How are you? How are you? It's. You seem different.
Good. Yeah, I am different, I think. I saw a lot out in the provinces and up north. And I had a lot of dreams. A lot of nightmares at first, just being away from everybody, but then a lot of visits from Vimredale, which was interesting. Same dreams, but
Yeah,
I think I'm starting to get it.
I can tell. Dreams are important. Visions do help. It's the frustration of what is fueling the passion for what could be. So it's good.
Yeah. So, I'm good. I'm tired, and I'm glad to be back.
We're happy to have you. Just trust me. We all are. Probably not more than 80, but we all are.
Yeah. I missed you guys.
You
All
should
right, get some sleep.
Yeah, I'm very tired, and I'm pretty sure right now 80 needs somebody to distract her.
As you make that statement, I'll just chime in here and mention that Stacy UK has given you all an advantage courtesy of its donation. Thank you so much, Stacy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Stacy.
Welcome back, Kay. In case you missed it, I don't know if you chimed in and could hear me about that, but you have another advantage courtesy of Stacy UK. Yeah. As Bren looks over towards 80, after having this conversation with Violet, you can see that Oriana is like talking with 80 right now. So we're going to backtrack maybe like just a minute or so. And Oriana leans over to you, 80, and says, is everything okay? They're kind of, I don't know.
They're fine. It's, I think we're all a little hurt in many different ways. But they're fine. This is love more than anything else, so.
Oh, okay. Are we safe here? Like, I feel like we're safe here, but
Yeah.
it helps having that kind of reassurance.
We should be. We have been. As far as I know, I think we can consider ourselves safe here.
Okay.
How are you feeling after everything?
Well, it's a little... I mean, I knew this was coming, but I didn't quite know everything about what was coming. Divination is weird like that. Like, you can get a sense of things, but if you misinterpret one aspect, then it kind of leads you down a chain of a bunch of other misinterpretations, and I won't get into the details of it, but suffice it to say, I think this was how I had thought it would work out. I just didn't quite understand all of the steps. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Did it... I feel like seeing the way that you do, does it stress you out?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's a burden, or do you enjoy it?
I very much think that it is a burden, but it's a burden that I am happy to bear.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you have a gift and you don't let that gift flourish within you, it can send you down some dark paths.
Yeah. It can. Well, I'm glad that things worked out, whether you predicted it or not. I'm glad that you're out of there. Thank you also for helping direct us to Mira.
Of course. I mean, I think that if it were not for her, I likely would have been in that room where you found her for as long as she was. I mean, I was there before they brought her in, and well, it wasn't a pleasant situation, and I was only in there for hours compared to how long she was in there. So she'll be okay, though. I hope you know that.
I do, yeah. Yeah. Thank you, though. I'm glad you're here with us.
Me too. Because it would have been very confusing if I didn't come with you.
Yeah.
I could really use some rest now. So
Yes. Make yourself comfortable.
Great. There's a room in the back. I know it's small, but I think I'm just going to go and lie down back there for a little bit, if that's all right.
Yeah, just let us know if you need anything.
Yes, and wake me up when the heavy conversations start happening. And she kind of smiles and looks in the direction of Bren and Violet.
Yeah.
They stand up, and as they're walking towards the back, they kind of lean over to Sisk and say, "I like your blue." And then just keep going. As they disappear into the back room, you see Ren has basically been standing beside the window the entire time, looking out the window. You don't see Lyra. I mean, obviously, Lyra did not come inside with you. You can't see her out the window, and safe assumption that Lyra is keeping watch above. And Ren just kind of looks back into the room, sees everyone seems to have a pretty vexed expression upon her face, but just moves over into a corner, sits down, crosses her legs, and begins to meditate.
I'm gonna honk me it up and take a nap.
Okay. All right. Violet and Bran, are you guys turning in for some much needed recuperation?
100%. After that conversation, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. As you all turn in, some of you find it more difficult than others to find sleep. Suns do rise a few hours later. That makes it a little awkward. But over the course of the morning, you do manage to get a much needed rest. Mira awakens, stirs, I should say. And that stirring, and this is around just before high suns, Mira stirring is enough to awaken Aidy, who Mira was basically sleeping on top of. And you look over Aidy as you notice Mira kind of moving around. You kind of glance around the room. You can see that Ren is also awake, still standing beside the window, still looking out. She glances over at you as you are waking up, and in a very hushed tone, she says, "Your sister didn't move. This is her first awakening." And then she just turns and looks back out the window. You can tell very clearly from what emotions you are able to read from her that she has a great deal of concern, a fair bit of stress, but also a conviction, for lack of a better word. You also find it somewhat difficult to read her emotions. That she has a very, very well-trained mind and soul. And you've encountered this before with people who are very in control of their emotional state. And you can tell very clearly that she is one of those.
I'll just sort of nod to her when she says that.
Mira, you feel immense pain all over your body, but in particular your face and head, which were the places that they had focused on just before you lost consciousness. But your eyes do flutter open, and you see Aidy staring down at you.
Hey, you're safe now. We're back.
My head hurts.
Yeah, I bet it does. I can get you some tea. I'll get you some tea.
As you say that, Oriana pops from around the corner of the kitchen holding 2 glasses of tea and just brings them over and sets them down next to you. Sorry, it took a little longer for the water to warm up. Hi.
Thank you.
And then she just kind of turns and moves away as she says hi to Mira.
What time is it? What day is it?
It's just been a day. It's almost lunchtime, I think. You were just out overnight.
Is everybody okay?
Yeah. Yeah, we're good. Wasn't as bad going to get you as we kind of thought it might be. But I'm glad we did. Yeah. She just sort of sits in the quiet because she knows that Mira needs time to process things. So rather than starting to ask a bunch of questions, I think she'll just say, here, turn around, and she'll take out what's left of your messy braid and go to fix your hair, sort of slowly rebraiding it, smoothing it back as you sort of sit and drink your tea.
I think as soon as you're done, I just kind of lean back into your shoulder. Usually when my head hurts, it's from thinking too much. This is a whole new experience.
Yeah. Maybe Bren could help with that later. We were really worried about you. I have so many questions. I mean, take your time, obviously, but it seemed really bad there. Yeah.
That feels like an understatement.
She's like dying to just say what happened. And you can feel that too, but she's like really trying to hold back.
Bryn sees that Mira's awake and he kind of like shuffles over and he's like, hey. So what happened? Just out loud.
Dad.
I think Mira's gonna, like, she finally kind of looks up. She's just been sort of like holding her head and clutching her cup of tea, and she finally looks around and she sees Ren sitting there, and then Violet. Is Violet still sleeping?
Violet, I feel if Siska's honk shoeing, Violet's like laying like right next to her, just splayed with like a snot bubble that's like getting bigger and smaller with every breath.
Hell yeah.
As you look over at Violet, who is snoring profusely, you don't know where it came from, but a small acorn comes flying across the room. It didn't come from the direction of Ren, but you heard like a clink as if it bounced off of something first, and it pelts Violet right in the forehead.
Fuck.
Ren's looking out the window, but Violet, you know where it came from.
What time is it?
Hammer time.
Oh.
Sorry.
And she'll like rub her eyes, slowly awake, and then she'll see Mira and then walk over, shuffle over, and how are you?
I've been better. How are you?
Tired. Very tired. You look like shit.
I feel like shit. So
Yeah.
that, I mean, I'm maybe now me and Aidy match again.
Ugh.
Healed up by now, right?
It's not a day. You still have a bruise on your face.
No, didn't we go to the mountain again? Or what was the timeline here?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
80's mostly healed back up.
Well, shit.
I mean, you can punch me in the face if you want to even things out.
Perfect.
Again,
So, what happened?
I guess that's my question too. I went to the Illuminated Heart. I was trying to cram in some research, and I could tell that there was commotion. It was different than it has been, and there was another student there, and this other student was getting pestered by the Nostromo, I think. I don't know, investigators in any case, and I couldn't just sit by and watch it happen, so I tried to step in and help the other student, and they dragged me back to Occam and started interrogating me.
Oriana kind of clears her throat and just says, "Oh, thank you for that, by the way."
Yeah.
What were they interrogating you about? Seems you're just a student.
Yeah. They're convinced that Occam is, I don't know, hiding cursed magic or promoting it or something. And so they're just trying to root out anyone who's different.
How long did they have you?
A while.
Did you tell them anything?
Eventually.
What did you tell them?
I fucked up. In order to keep from breaking, I started taunting them. And it was a way to keep my spirits up. It was a way to try and convince myself not to give in, and eventually I said something like, I was only gone for a month and this school really went to shit, and then they wanted to know where I went. So I told them that I had gone north chasing a falling star. But I think that they know more. They came with the books and the scrolls that I had in the library, and I didn't tell them anything else, but I'm sure that they know more.
Did they ask anything else beyond that?
They asked all sorts of things, but that was all I answered.
It's okay. You did what she had to do to survive.
The same thing was kind of happening in Thowland's Hollow. Inquisition rounding people up. Thereafter, my aunt. We had helped a bunch of people escape, but it feels like there's more going on. I don't know what it is, but
It's not
it
just
doesn't
here
seem-
and there. Ren just speaks up. You can tell very clearly that her very stern expression has turned to one of almost sorrow. And she looks back and forth between Violet and Mira. I got a few messages when we were on our way back. They've hit almost every safe haven that we have. Not sure how exactly they know all of it, but I can only think that some of what Reed set up has been compromised. If not
I'm sorry. Who
if
are,
not all
who
of
are
it.
you?
Yeah, hi. My name is Ren. I'm Violet's mother's sister.
that's my aunt.
She was the one who tracked you down. When we,
Well, that was
Didn't
mostly
remember.
Lyra, but
There's another person?
Lyra's a bird, a really, really cool bird.
Okay.
Yeah, you saved
Thank
it.
you.
Well,
you saved it by mentioning the cool part. Lyra's much more than a bird, thank you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to offend.
Oh, you didn't offend me, but don't say that around Lyra. You might find unpleasantness waiting for you in certain places that you don't like feeling squishy thing.
Ew.
She's
Good to know.
spiteful like that. Anyway,
Or an acorn in the face.
hey, look. When you need to wake up and you can't say anything, that's the best way to do it. You, whatever this situation is that you guys are dealing with, Violet, you know I'm happy to help. But I'm pretty worried about whatever this business is with Maestrom. So, very least, I think we're going to have to deal with it in some capacity. Especially if they know anything about what you've told me, Violet. Because that could be dangerous. Something like that in their hands. Yeah.
Yeah, I told Ren about it, about the boat. Maybe we should go check on it.
How far are we from gathering what we need?
Well, you still have to do the majority of the magic stuff, but Violet did just arm haul into a bag of holding quite an array of loot that you have to go through. So at the very least, it's going to take time to go through all of that. But you need more. I mean, you don't know this. Like, you don't know how extensive Oriana's skills with magic are, but you're probably going to need someone more versed to assist in getting some of the magic done. And then you have to figure out how to handle the components that you need from and forging the lunar steel harness for the engine to keep the engine stable. Long-term
Okay.
stable. It is technically short-term stable, but long-term stable. You still need that harness, so you still have to research that. So probably a decent amount of time, and even more if your access to the illuminated heart is compromised.
Could we just run them out of town? Make things a lot easier.
Might find that a little bit more difficult, although it is interesting to hear that apparently a few of the temples and religious organizations here in town are not taking too kindly to the Nostromo and what they're doing. Maybe that'll help. Their tactics have always been difficult to swallow. Speaking of that, I'm going to go and do a recon just to make sure that we're safe. There another place that we could go if we had to?
I'm sure I could figure something out.
This place is yours then?
Yeah, one of a few.
Okay, good. I can always find Violet, so if you guys have to bolt before I get back, don't worry about me. I'll be fine. And she just kind of stands up, checks a few of her things, gives Violet a nod, and heads out.
She's so fucking cool.
She really is.
As the door shuts, Oriana just was sipping tea and sets it down and just says, "She's very intense."
It's kind of great.
So, what happened while I was out?
I mean, not much. We all, running our errands and getting things together. We all started to come back as planned, and you weren't here yet. So, after a little while, I got significantly worried. That was right when Violet came home, and immediately Ren went to go look for you. So it's kind of it.
I
And
sent you a sending, and I didn't get a response, so
yeah,
we came straight to the city instead of meeting at the ship. And then when I didn't find you at your apartment, we found you here. Or not didn't find you, but we found Aidy at least.
And you just walked in and walked back out?
Yes. Yes.
mostly.
Mira kind of looks around the room and sees Oriana just sips of tea.
Obviously, there were some obstacles, but for being this intense organization, they made it kind of easy. I don't know what that says.
We went
about
in
them.
the same way that I took you last time.
Yeah, a lot less fun, and
Yeah.
no alcohol involved this time. So, So there's a chance that they know about the ship. It sounds like. I don't know. How do we prevent them from going to see it? I mean, I don't know what we do next.
We speed up our plans to get it off the ground. That's what we do next. What's all the, what was the stuff that you grabbed, Violet? Like,
I honestly don't know. Probably take like an hour or two to kind of look at it and categorize it, but it's just a bunch of arcane equipment and probably components. Maybe I honestly don't know. I just kind of closed my eyes and put everything, shoved that whole shelf in my bag.
gotcha.
You could take some time to look at it, but
I could do that if you
I
like.
don't know.
Oriana
Oh,
sets the tea down on the table.
yeah, that'd be amazing.
Sure. And she just kind of holds out a hand for the bag of holding.
Yeah, then I'll hand it over. I don't want to, but I will.
Is there anything overly personal in here?
Maybe. You'll know when you see it. Don't worry about it.
Well, I mean, everyone's going to see it.
Oh,
Because you don't know everything that's inside of this bag since you just kind of closed your eyes and shoveled things in. And, well, that means that we have to turn it inside out and have everything come out of it, including all any other things that you had in it beforehand. So I'm just trying to ensure your privacy. If there's something overly private, I can look away.
no, it's fine.
Okay. Well, why don't you come and retrieve the other possessions so that I'm only left with the things that need to be categorized? And she proceeds to turn around and just dumps the bag of holding, pulls it inside out right on the table, and it just explodes with all kinds of things. You see
Is there
her
any buzzing sounds or like?
Bryn's definitely looking like.
you see her just like instantly, reflexively, and very quickly pop out a mage hand to catch things that are like falling and flying in different directions and stuff, and start pulling everything back onto the table. And she steps back to let Violet kind of pull out the things that are personal and put them back into the bag.
Could I do a sleight of hand check to kind of secretly do it without anybody seeing?
No, because everyone is looking right now.
God damn it. You see Violet put away a few journals, a few books, and a stuffed dragon that she had in there. It seems really, really old, like super, super old. And you had never seen it on her barge or anything, but she had acquired it again recently, I guess.
And whatever other stuff that your father had left you as well. And as you do that, Oriana just waits patiently for you to like move away. And once you do, she just turns around and starts humming to herself and starts meticulously going through things. You also see as
Does the
she's
steel come out
yes
as well, I guess?
Yes. So probably about 15-ish pounds of metal ingots came out with that. The ingots themselves, of which there's about 5 of, they're similar sizes, some variation between them, but you can all see quite clearly that there is a pale blue hue to them, and they're very even though they're not fully processed ore, that they're chunked and rough hewn ingots. You can see that there's a great deal of shine to the metal that is in them. And of course, you pull those back in the bag as well. As you guys are watching Oriana, who is very meticulously going through things, and she's humming to herself occasionally, you see one of the various eyes that are all over her body, that you can see, on her exposed skin anyway. You see them pop open and close back up every now and then. Which,
Aidy
by the
can
way,
feel...
it's worth mentioning to Mira, you never saw her in her natural form when you saw her at school. She had magic that hid this from Mira. Mira knew her facial features very well, but her skin was more of a pale white instead of a pale blue in her illusory form, and you couldn't see the mad number of eyes that are all over her body. Sorry, go ahead.
No, just Aidy can tell that Mira is dissatisfied with the answer that was given regarding finding her. So after Violet's done throwing her dildos on the floor, Aidy will just turn to Mira and be like, all right, so we climbed a bunch of stairs. I got really pissed off. Bren mind linked with me. Then he got really pissed off. He almost broke my arm. And then we kind of separated because Bren ran into danger. Don't worry, Violet's already scolded him. He busted out his token thing and medallion.
For me?
Yeah. He loves us. It's crazy.
He doesn't ever use that.
I know. I think he's probably going to have to work through that for quite a while. But we were able to distract a little bit, get some of the guards out of the way, and we got to you. And that's honestly, it was kind of as simple as that. Does that make you feel any better?
No, but yes.
Would it make you feel better if I told you to leave? We jumped out a window?
Oh, yeah,
That's
we did that.
exciting.
We walked in
Yeah.
and we walked out. That's
No,
what
we
happened.
flew. Oriana just says as she's going through. It was quite fun.
We were invisible, so I don't think anyone saw that you left at all. Probably shouldn't show your face around town, at all now, because, yeah. I mean, welcome to the club, right? We're all kind of fucked in that regard, but
Yep.
Yeah.
I wasn't. But whatever. Whatever. I'm bitter. I'm
Great.
sorry.
Then you can go get lunch or something if you're still
I'm fucked
welcome
now.
around town.
I'm part of the no face crew now. So yay.
You hate it here. Why are you mad?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean that I want to give any more incentive to anybody also to hate me. I was in my little corner. I was having a good time.
You can't control how people feel about you, Bren.
And
My
I don't really
farm,
care
my
how they
chair,
feel.
yada, yada, yada. Yeah, I've heard this before.
You're muted.
It was on purpose.
Ian's version of bleeping himself.
Perfect.
Okay, so we all right. So let's reel it back in. So we really need to figure out how to expedite a lot of these things, because if they even have an idea of what's up there, they're gonna go. And your friend, or not friend, will be helpless against them. Phelan, he's at the boat with Tig.
Well,
Ostensibly,
they were
Phelan is on his way back.
gonna
but-
follow us.
I mean,
I'm gonna look over at 80. Mom and Dad are supposed to be here tomorrow.
Technically,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
supposed to be here tonight.
oh my goodness.
I realize you lost a day, so you say that, and then it clicks in your mind.
We're going to have to deal with that. I mean, I guess better to do it sooner rather than later, right?
Does Aidy have active bruises or bruising on them?
Aidy
I
doesn't,
know
but
that.
Mira does.
Aidy. Yeah,
Like
Mira does.
Absolutely.
the whole
My whole
side of
face.
Mira's face is just maliciously bruised. She has several marks all over her body. She looks messed up.
I can take a look and see if there's something I can do for her, but
Wait, this might be good, right? Your parents are high ranking, and if they see their daughter, and you say who it was, that could help out with our Nostromo problem, or at least a little bit.
That's the plan. Mine, anyway.
I'm gonna ease up now.
That we're just going in like that then with mom and dad. It's yeah.
Look what their colleagues did to my face.
Yeah.
Definitely distract them from your school.
What school? It's not even a fucking school anymore. It's a prison.
Yeah. Okay, so there's that. So you guys have a lot to figure out for later.
We need to find somebody that can process this steel, or at least work with it.
We also need to talk to Phelan to see what they've put together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So where are we going?
Great question. I don't know where we're even going to meet our parents. I feel like going back to the apartment is not a
I
great
think-
idea.
Their plan was to go to Burke's.
Okay. Great. So great. You're not all coming for this family reunion, are you? To witness,
Absolutely not.
all of that. Okay.
do you
Yeah.
want an audience?
Well, when I thought, it was just sort of like running into them, then, it'd be cool to, introduce our friends. But now that it's a bit more confrontational and fraught with emotional baggage, maybe it's not the best idea. At least initially, who knows? Maybe we'll have brunch tomorrow and you guys can all, mimosas on mom and dad.
I don't think they'd like to see me.
What's a mimosa?
Oh my God, you would love one.
Probably would.
Yeah, Bren would fucking love a mimosa. Are you kidding? I don't care. It's not tough.
I don't give a damn. I love an appletini. Okay, that's fine. You guys can handle that, and we will do something else. Looks at Sisk.
I guess so. Do you think Tamra has connections for to refine the ingots and stuff?
I mean, there's Wessons, but I don't know that they could do something so specialized.
I also kind of want to do it under the table.
Yeah.
Do you have the capacity to do it? I mean, because if they have the capacity, I'm sure we can figure something out to where we can do it under the table.
That's a great question. Miko, with my extensive experience working for like 2 months at this smithy, would I know if they would have the ability to refine something like this steel?
Based on what you guys knew before Violet left, you know that only a handful of blacksmiths even have the understanding of how to forge the metal properly into strips, much less actually control it enough to create something from it. And you have no idea who such a person might be.
This isn't part of the game to where like real world player knowledge could come into effect, would it?
No.
Darn it. I tried, you guys. I'm out.
Well, maybe Tamara is the best bet then, because she's well connected.
Yeah, I just really hate going back to her like often, you know?
Do you though?
Don't do that. I got you out of a dungeon.
My head hurts.
I'd go back. If you guys want me to just show up, I would gladly go and speak with her.
It's not that I wouldn't want to speak to her. It's just that we've already asked so much and I just don't want to impose. Stop looking at me like that, all of you. And now you're here looking at Violet.
Giving things to you. I don't know. Doing favors for you.
Damn right. We're feeding into it. It's just with the connection, like I'll ask. Fine. Oh, jeez.
I mean, even if she just knows of someone else that we can go to, like she doesn't have to get involved necessarily, right? Yeah,
no, it's just I don't have anything to give her right now, and so it's a little tough. I'm gonna have to figure something out. Stop it. I'm tired.
What?
Hate you. He kind of turns away. Why do the three of you make things so difficult for me?
What is the primary emotion that I'm getting from Bren?
He's super flustered. Like if
yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's just like, stop. Like it's one of those.
Fantastic.
Aidy is able to notice that one of the eyes on Oriana's shoulder is open and staring at all of this, and you can see her shuddering a little bit, like she's laughing.
I love her. Okay.
All right, I'll speak with Tamara and I'll get some information. Okay, cool. We get the information. We know where we can refine that. That's one thing. The next thing is we got to get in contact with Phelan to see what they came up with so we can have a bit more of a direction. And he's definitely going to want to see you. They're going to want to see you. Sorry.
I think they're going to be upset to see you, to say the least.
Maybe a good thing.
Sisk and probably Mira. Both of you roll wisdom checks, please. Not saving throws, just checks.
Okay. Can I guidance?
No.
Damn it.
19 for Mira.
Okay. It says forbidden.
Forbidden? What's forbidden?
Oh. It won't let me roll on the DDD dice. Maybe it's because I shared a link.
That's okay. The 19 is good enough while you troubleshoot that and figure out what's going on there. It would occur to Mira that Phelan doesn't know where you're at right now because he doesn't know the existence of the safe house. I'm sorry, they. Damn it, Ian. You broke me. I do it all. They don't know where you're at. So you would assume, very likely, given what you know of them, that they're going to go to Burke. But you don't know that when they're coming back either. They said that they would be a few days behind you. So that could be tonight, tomorrow night, the day after. It also depends on how quickly they move on their own coming back. Like, there's a lot of variables. You don't know when their arrival time is, but you know that they probably have already left and they don't know exactly where to go, probably.
Do you have enough energy to send them another bird?
Yeah. I'll send another moth.
Okay.
And say, we're in a safe house. You can go to Burke's. My parents may be there.
That's all you say?
Otherwise, check with Babs.
You've got approximately 6 more words to, just like casually throw out, and I love you, or...
I love you very much, Phelan. Perfect.
Oh, that's it.
Okay.
Nope, that's it. You still got 3 more. I love you.
Brilliant. After you finish with that ritual, Oriana is watching you, or had been watching you while you were doing that, and Oriana's not the easiest person to read, but I'll say that Mira believes that she sees a bit of, not amazement, but just like interest in you performing that ritual. But she's going back to meticulously cataloging the thing. Would you all like to do anything else? Is there anything else that you all wish to discuss before we move along?
I feel like we're missing something.
We're missing everything. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's all a big
That is
mess.
a problem.
So you two are going to go and have dinner with your parents. The rest of us, are going to go to Tamara's.
Yeah, that's the plan for right now.
Oriana speaks up. If it's all right, I think I would like to stay here, as long as it, continues to be safe. I don't feel confident in my disguises on the street right now.
Yeah,
I
please.
feel so lonely. Okay, yeah.
Could like Ren check on her to make sure she's okay? I feel like bad leaving Oriana alone.
Or I could do this, and then I summon a wild companion, and it's the trio of Almirage to hang out with her.
Tell me what your wild companion is. This a spell?
It's a feature, druid feature, trait, racial feature, trait, class feature. As an action, you can spend the use of your wild shape to cast a find familiar spell without material components. Find a Fae instead of beast finds disappears after 2 hours. So yeah, it's just they're just hanging out. It's like a
Okay. So this is not the trio, but this is like a Fae magical variation of the trio.
yeah. Unless it reaches out to Star.
You weren't trying to do that, so
Well, I tried. Yeah. So it's a shimmer of the trio just hanging out.
she Oriana
yeah.
alights as this trio of Almirage start bouncing all over the table, and she just looks over at Bren, recognizing where the magic came from, and says, "That is wonderful. Thank you." And she just starts playing with them. They're going to
really
be
nice.
brilliantly distracting.
Good. Then it works. Okay. Watch out for Phoebe. She's the wild one. We ready to do the thing?
Not at all, but
Vibes. Yeah.
we should do it. Yeah.
Cool. Guess we'll make our way. Brent's gonna start like packing up whatever he has, which is probably nothing. And all right, you two, let's go.
All right. So Sisk, Violet, and Bren head out to go in search. What are the twins doing?
Mira's gonna lay down.
I think Aidy will try to, like, if there are any cuts, clean up any cuts that she might have. Maybe get some cool water to help with some swelling.
Ow, stop.
I'm sorry. Well,
There's definitely a bit of swelling. Most of the injuries seem to be the kind to inflict bruise injury. No real cuts or anything to draw blood per se.
yeah.
One of the marks on her face looks like it was probably pretty close to breaking the skin, so it's very like that ugly red purplish kind of color right across the her cheekbone. And yeah, it hurts a lot.
You know, just because I looked so good with a black eye doesn't mean that you have to copy everything that I do.
It's about time for you to take the lead. I'm just gonna follow now.
That's okay, you know. You can. I can't guarantee that I'll lead you anywhere good, but I don't mind trying. What are we telling Mom and Dad exactly?
I have no idea.
I say, like, immediately not leading anymore and deferring to you. Listen, it's a habit. Because there's like a lot of information.
I mean, I guess we start with this and see where it goes.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good conversation starter. I can try to help, like, cover some of it up for you.
No.
Okay.
You can tell them whatever you want to.
I feel like we'll get a pretty good read on their, feelings about cursed magic and all of that. So, we'll see. You really look like shit, and I hate it a lot.
Thank you.
Brent really did almost break my arm. Like, it was a whole thing.
Why?
I was so mad.
I would imagine.
Like, deeply, deeply angry. And
Did he want you to not be mad?
it was just poor timing. We were mind linked, and it sort of was like a, feedback loop of sorts. He was really angry. I was really angry. It wasn't his fault at all. But I feel like I've never really been that out of control anger-wise before. I mean, I get, little hot sometimes, but that was new, I think. I don't know. I mean, good reason and all that, so I get it, but I feel like things are very much out of control right now. It's, I don't know. It's a lot. I don't know. But hey, let's go have dinner with Mom and Dad.
Can I have a nap first?
Yeah, there's time. Nice nap. Aidy would not sleep. There's so much. So much.
Piper's over there. You could go play with Piper.
Yeah. I think I'll chat with Oriana too. She's really, really great. I know you've talked about her and everything, and
I'm glad that you all helped her out too.
I wish we could have helped more people. Just seeing it, there were a lot of guards in front of a lot of doors.
You said you walked in and basically walked out.
I mean, yeah, we happened to pass a lot of hallways that were, guarded and such, but I don't know. It wasn't that bad. But I know that there were people who probably could have used our help too. Yeah. Don't know what to do about that exactly. Can't quite, obliterate the Nostromo. I don't think, at least.
Maybe not yet.
Yeah. Well, sleep. Maybe your headache will go away a little bit.
Take a couple days.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Just rest.
As
An able pace, probably.
As Mira settles down for a nap, Aidy goes over and has a pleasant conversation with Oriana about, just chatting sorts of things. The other three cohorts, as you all head off through the city, it feels different. Not just for you, not just because of what you know now, presence of the Nostromo and all of that. The town feels tense. You remember distinctly just a couple of weeks ago, in fact, heading out of the town, going off to take care of your business, and people were going about their days without seemingly too much care, oblivious to all of the things that were going on around them. Now that it is landed in the city, now that the Nostromo are here, it has produced a pallor over this bright and wonderful city. You can't help but feel sorry in a way for many of the people that you pass by on the street, because many of them don't even know why they're scared, and yet you can feel that fear within them. On this trek, you are careful to avoid anyone that might be of a person of authority, any of the town guard, or anyone very obviously connected to the Imperium's military. You also take special care to avoid anyone that looks like they might be part of the clergy. More than that, you don't notice anyone bearing the attire of the Nostromo that you had seen the night before. As the afternoon rolls on and you continue heading in the direction of Tamra's, you can't help but feel a little bit of that fear creeping in. That even though you can't see them, you know that they're there. You know that they're watching. You're not sure what to do about it. Maybe there isn't anything you can do about it. Right now, the biggest concern is getting to Tamra. And also, Violet's stomach is growling furiously at this point, loudly enough that it cues the other two of you to realize that you're quite hungry as well. Is there a particular food that you stop for? Do you just go for the nearest food boat? Do you stop anywhere specific on your way to Tamra's? Or do you, despite the hunger, press on?
Yeah, I think, I don't know about you guys, but I could go for a slice of pie.
Yeah. I should probably, now that I'm in town, I should probably go say hi. Let her know that I'm back. Pie and coffee.
Pie and coffee sounds great.
Maybe we can get something for Tamra. And the twins.
Let's go. On our way to Miss Withersby.
Hearth and Home it is.
Hearth and Home. There it is.
It's only slightly out of the way to go there anyway. So it doesn't take too much of extra time for you to do that. And as you make your way down the street, Violet notices a certain apple cart vendor. Just maybe 30, 40 feet down from Hearth and Home. He glances in Violet's direction, but doesn't seem to notice her. His eyes just kind of drift past a lot of you without really paying too much mind. Give me an insight check, please.
Oh dear.
Just Andrew.
Oh, good.
Got 11, but I'm going to use one of the advantages to reroll.
All right. Yeah.
17.
A lot better. There's a distinct amount of concern in his demeanor, and you catch just a hint of fear in his eyes. And he seems to be keeping an eye out, looking for someone or something, and you're not it.
You guys feeling that weird vibe walking around?
Yeah. It's all different now, it seems.
Mm-hmm. Everybody seems scared. We're on edge. I don't know, it's different. It feels like everybody's feeling how I used to feel.
Everyone else has got their hoods up now.
Yeah. I don't like it. It was easier when it was just me. I don't know.
Sorry. Yeah.
It feels wrong running away. I don't know. I've been having a lot of thoughts and feelings around taking off, and it just doesn't feel right.
Why? I mean, you had to do that. You weren't abandoning anyone. If that's how you felt.
No, I
I'll tell you
mean,
that right now.
with the boat, it feels like we're abandoning this whole city to the clergy, and it feels like I'm running away from it. Like when I was up north, it was amazing to see all these cursed people that just were living their lives. And it's just, it feels like a lot of people are oppressed here, and it doesn't feel right running away when we could help them somehow. Like, it felt like my dad ran away from me, but it turns out he was setting up safe havens for people all over the place. And I don't know if I feel right about running away.
I understand that. And it makes sense to feel that way, but you can't you can't help others if you can't help yourself. And you've already started that. I think, or feel, with this opportunity with the boat, it'll provide us a better understanding of what we can do here. We're still limited on what we know. You know more than all of us just from your short time away. We need to gain that knowledge and experience too. We can come back, hopefully. But right now, we have to help ourselves.
Okay. It's just hard to see people suffering.
Yeah. Well,
Says,
hopefully we can. Oh,
what's it like in other places? Like, is it like this? Is it religion and governance? How are other places organized?
I mean, there are all sorts of places. You have, there are some that are very, pretty similar to this, where, there's a control of the information, there's a control of who has the power. Across everywhere, though, there are people struggling for different reasons, for different made-up, terrible reasons. Some places are just as hard on magic, but there are plenty of places where it's like not all magic is welcomed everywhere, but like most types of magic are welcomed. Like, there's the difference of is taught and compared. You don't have to hide it necessarily. I mean, some of the biggest places in Saris are like or based upon magical knowledge and the pursuit of knowledge, period. Planning places still revere the ascendant. There are some places where it's way less. They all have their charms. They all have their setbacks.
So there is another way that we could do this.
What do you mean?
I don't know. It just feels like the systems we have in place aren't fair, you know? And if there's another way of doing things, there's another way of running things. I've been trying to figure out if we burn it all down, I can't just walk away from that. There has to be something that takes its place. There needs to be a balance of some kind. If this system isn't working, we need to replace it with something else. And maybe seeing other places will, I don't know, show me other ways of running things, or other ways that life could be.
We would all be so lucky to have you as the head of the clergy, Violet.
I don't want that responsibility.
Oh, no. You've already said it. We're going to other lands to collect information and come back and overthrow. I would gladly stand next to you as you run everything. And I'm serious. I would.
I just want to bake food and just be able to be. And I want other people to just be able to be. And walking around today, people are afraid to just be.
Big changes start small. And maybe it is with just you baking. Let's start there.
Yeah. Pie?
Pie. Let's do it.
You step into hearth and home. The familiar bell of above the door rings as you step inside. It isn't changed. It is just as you had left it so many weeks ago, Violet. You can smell the aromas of freshly baked things coming from the back. You can see all manner of breads and pastries and goodies all about in the cabinets and on the shelves around. You don't see any people. This time of day, you would have expected at least a few coming in for whatever they needed for the night, even if they weren't getting something scrumptious as an afternoon snack. No one. You all step inside for just a few seconds before you hear the sounds of Mrs. Withersby from the back. Be out in a minute, dear. And there's an eerie silence in the wake of that. A little unsettling to an already unsettled circumstance. But very quickly thereafter, Mrs. Withersby emerges. She has her familiar hat, slightly dirty apron on, her spoon tucked into the tie of her apron. And she comes out from the back looks straight at you, Violet. And there's a bit of shock on her face that quickly changes to a very, very broad smile. And she instantly moves from around behind the counter and charges straight at Violet and wraps her in an enormous hug.
Hi.
Sisk and Bren are able to see that there's just a little bit of moisture forming at the corner of her eyes as she's trying to fight back tears. She gives Violet a big squeeze and then steps back and holds Violet out at arm's length, looking down at her. Violet's kind of small in comparison to Mrs. Withersby. And she just looks at you and says, "You have no idea how good it is to see you right now.
It's really good to see you too.
You've changed." And she just kind of brushes your hair with her hand.
Yeah, I got a haircut and been out of town for a little bit, but I'm back.
Well, it suits you. Hello again, as she looks at Bren.
Mrs. Withersby, always a pleasure.
I forget, has Sienna met Mrs. Withersby? Yeah, I didn't
I
think
don't
so.
think so.
Looks over at Sienna, because I'm assuming that's the guys that Sisk is taking.
Probably for now.
You're new, but that's all right. What can I get for all of you?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Mrs. Withersby. It's always such a pleasure to come in here. This is my friend. This is an old friend of mine. This is Sienna.
Hello there,
Nice to meet
Sienna.
you.
My name is Mrs. Withersby, and I make all kinds of delectable goods for people that deserve delectable goods in their bellies.
And who deserves delectable goods in their bellies?
Well, right now, the three of you.
You're so charming. We're Mrs. Withersby, surprise us. It's been quite a day already.
Alrighty, have a seat. And she just kind of turns and heads back into the back and starts humming. You can see that there is a distinct change in her demeanor from the moment that you had seen her coming around the counter to what you see now. She is much more lightfoot, we'll say. And as you all go to sit down, she comes back just a minute later with a large tray that has 3 steaming bowls of something and 3 very tall glasses of water. And she makes her way over to the table and sets down the tray in front of you. And you can see 3 bowls with heaping pile of chicken pot pie in each bowl.
When you said pie, I thought you meant fruit pie.
Well, I have that too.
Oh, there's
if you need, but I got the understanding from just your demeanor that you were hungry for something a little bit more savory than that. There's always dessert in Hearth and Home, mind you.
This smells incredible.
Well, dig in.
Oh,
Right,
like
we'll
me
just
as
start
a
eating.
person, I'm just like, oh God, yes. Sorry. I would go, Mrs. Withersby, just sit with us for a moment, please.
Alrighty. And she pulls out one of the chairs and sits down next to you.
What's been going on? The city feels bleak.
Well, yes. All this business with those clergy bastards, that has just... It set things unright. Now, don't get me wrong. this town has not always treated people, everyone, with the respect that they deserve, as she kind of glances over at Violet. But some of these new folk, they're taking it to an all new level. Did you all hear about the gentleman that they carted down the canals just yesterday? Or no, that was the day before. They had him strung up, hanging by his arms and shoulders on a post. Just burying him down the canal as if setting him alight so that everybody could see how wrong a person that happened to have a little bit of unbridled magic is. It was despicable. A good number of people were quite upset by it, thankfully. But sadly, there was a few that seemed to, well, let's just say they took an opposite approach to being upset.
What? Rage or the other way?
Well, a few folks seemed quite happy to see someone like that in that position.
There's always a few.
Well, it was more than I cared to see. I did get right by one of them, however. Luckily for him, he could swim. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
It's just, that's awesome. That is, yeah, that's good to hear. Withers great.
Yes, well, thankfully, one of the members of the Illuminated Heart decided that it was uncouth for such a presentation, and they stepped in and retrieved the young man. Ended the whole fiasco. But as I understand it, now services have been canceled at the Illuminated Heart, and there is some kind of a situation going on there and at the university. So, not sure that whatever good that came of that is not had repercussions.
Well, surely some of the local leadership are trying to do something about it. Have you heard anything?
There's a few. One of our Imperium representatives, in fact, had returned to town. And she seems like a pleasant enough woman. She spoke out against it, of course, but, you know, politics are not well, I don't like it. So I stay away from it. But it feels like whatever this situation is, it's tearing good people apart. And I don't like it when neighbors are set against neighbors.
Do you know why things are ramping up? Is there a trial coming soon?
Well, of course there's a trial coming soon. There's always a trial coming soon. But no, this is something entirely different. I've been trying to stay out of it, but I keep hearing something about the Nostromo are having another one of their inquisitorial interventions.
So they're just looking for people. They're just rounding people.
Seems like. And they don't really care about what happens.
Are they recruiting?
They're always recruiting.
Yeah. Mrs.
Clergy wouldn't be
Withersby.
clergy if they weren't trying to tend the flock, as they call it.
Yeah. Conversion at an all-time high. Mrs. Withersby, what would you do if you could just wave your hand and it would be fixed? What would you do?
Well, I
What
would
you
take
like to see?
I would take whoever's responsible for organizing these Nostromo individuals, tie him up by his arms and his shoulders, and send him down the canal the other direction towards the waterfall. That's what I would do. But I'm just a simple baker.
It's a good plan. He kind of looks over at Violet.
Do you know who's organizing this? Or has
I have no idea, my dear. I'm sorry. This is not something that I'd like to embroil myself with. I just try to make sure that my neighbors understand that everyone is welcome in hearth and home. And if they don't like it, well, they can go find themselves new neighbors, for all I care. Anyway, eat up. I'm going to go and see if one of my pies might be ready out of the oven. It's cherry now, and she kind of winks at Bren. She stands up and starts heading towards the back.
You are really popular with the ladies. For a guy who turns into a bear on the reg.
it's the jawline?
I'm just a nice person. Grumpy face. I have a question, Miko,
Yeah.
above table. What's Mrs. W's first name?
No one knows.
Not even Bren.
Not even Bren. Aidy doesn't even know.
I invented her and I don't fucking know.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yes, I hope very much, Beth, that I am doing justice to your original.
Miko, please. I love her so much.
The best.
Yes, as Varl says, her first name is Mrs.
It's Mrs. Nice. Okay. All right, Violet. Let's revisit that previous conversation. Let's say we did want to do something drastic to change what's going on. You see our opening here?
I mean, we find out who's organizing it and we stop them. I don't know. We're just. What do you mean? I
Say we do find out who it is. How would you suggest we stop them?
do like Mrs. Withersby's plan.
What?
But bigger picture, probably not the best approach.
And I'm sorry, I'm a bit groggy. I'm a bit slow today because I also like Mrs. Withersby plan, but you seem to be speaking clearer than my mind. And why wouldn't it be the best approach if you could remind me?
I worry about a backlash. It could make things worse.
It's very intuitive. So we think bigger picture, like you said. And that bigger picture is on top of that mountain.
Well, I know you didn't ask me directly, but
You are always welcome to speak, sis.
We're just talking.
Yeah.
We're not talking.
if this is kind of thing that I think it is. Well, some things that we can do, there's already a rumble of the people. We just stoke that fire, baby. Second, I think I know who is kind of leading the charge, and I think Bren, I think you kind of know too. I saw him with Leighton, or he was working with Leighton when he was under
Oh,
the headband,
yeah.
and we had talked very vaguely about it, but you know what I'm.
Yeah, I do. That's a heavy task.
It's
I mean,
there's
you said it earlier. We can't help people till they're ready to help themselves, right? So what if we help them help themselves?
we'd be taking out Chokran, and that's a good piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, but if nobody, it has to be, it can't be just us. Like, we just can't go in and take Chokran out. There's going to be another Chokran to pop up. There's always another Chokran to pop up. We need something to snuff it out heavy. Are there people walking in the street? I know everything's real sad, but are there people walking around?
Yeah, it's maybe less than you would have expect for the time of day, but yes.
Small acts, right? Single drop in the bucket makes a wave. It gets
If
up from
we
the
start-
table. Oh, keep talking, please.
If we start now with the small drops, we get the people going, and then we take out Chokran. They might not have a chance to replace them if the people are already fired up. They might take a opportunity.
We have another thing on our list now. Okay.
Just
I mean,
add
if
one
we
more
want.
thing.
Yeah, we could run away still and come back, maybe.
Yeah, but if we can leave something worthwhile behind, makes going a little bit easier.
Something to look forward to coming back to.
Hopefully.
I think you're right, Sisk. We stoke that fire. We get the people start believing in a different way. Let people know that there's safe havens, that there's a resistance. But I get to kill Choker.
It's a heavy task. You think on that a little bit longer. Maybe talk to Aidy about it.
I don't think I'll find balance until I kill him.
It's like a deep, concerned look on Bren's face.
Violet's eyes are very dark. He cut off my ears.
I don't respond to that. Just kind of let that sit there. We'll figure it out. Too early to tell. Plus, I don't want to spoil our pie, because I could feel like I can hear Miss Withersby maybe coming back around.
And as if on cue, Mrs. Withersby does in fact emerge from the back And you can see that she has 3 very large plates with very large slices of fresh, hot out of the oven lattice cherry pies. And you can see that there is a sprinkling of brown sugar and whipped cream on top.
Gotta do one of these. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. I think that's it, yeah? Unless you guys have anything.
Can we get some to go for the twins? Mrs. Withersby.
I mean,
Can
right
we just get a whole pie to go?
I happen to have a second one.
Maybe 2.
Sweet.
You have 2?
I don't have 2 cherries, but I could always throw in something else.
What's Tamara's favorite?
Oh my gosh.
So 3 pies. I wanted
3
to get
pies?
I want to. I'll whisper to Brent. I was gonna get one for you to eat while you're a bear. Don't you want that?
I mean, I do. Gosh, that would be so nice. Yeah. Tamara's not a pie person. She's more of a. She likes.
Honey, everyone is a pie person when they taste my
She's a
pies.
cake. She's
That's
a cake
true.
person.
No, she likes. What is the things? She said it. It's like a cinnamon roll or something. For some reason, Bray doesn't know what a cinnamon roll is. She really likes those. Do you have any of those?
I have a few cinnamon rolls. I could throw a few together for you real quick. I also have a honey crisp apple that I baked this morning.
Looks at like coin purse. Yeah, we got enough. Yeah.
She quickly, without you, like faster than you can blink, has her spoon out and she just smacks your hand. Put that coin purse away, young man.
Oh, jeez. What? Sorry. I feel really bad. You work so hard. Okay.
Well, business is slow right now anyway. So I have extra. I'll be right back.
The trick is to leave it on the table, Bren. You just leave it on the table and then we leave.
No, I have a thing that I always do when I come here. Like they go, "You're not gonna pay me. You're so nice." And then I walk out the door and I go, "Hey, I found this. I don't know why you keep leaving it out." And then it's like, it's a thing. It's a thing.
Yeah, and then she gives it to charity. Yeah, I get it. But if you actually want to pay her, you just leave it on the table. She doesn't accept money.
Just flip one of the bowls over with just like a little pile of stuff. Just there we go.
So yes, you end up leaving Hearth and Home carrying a few bags or a few boxes rather, with pies in them, and another that has 3 very, very large, like the size of your face, cinnamon rolls.
Okay. Let's get this over with. I don't understand your guys' obsession and like making our way over to Tamara.
So, in the interest of time, we will get back to that encounter probably next time we sit together. I'm going to cut back over to the twins now. Mira gets a little bit of sleep, but she finds it difficult, to say the least. And there is a fair bit of almost like PTSD style flashbacks that occur. They're not quite dreams because she's not fully asleep. She's just like dozing. So she's remembering a lot of the torment that she had to deal with. And so she doesn't necessarily feel rested after trying. But she is startled out of all of that when she hears the voice of her mother in her mind. A rarity, for sure, as her mother tends to prefer a magical sending papers and envelopes and, all other forms of flamboyancy that comes from a woman of her magical skill. But she hears a traditional sending in her mind, and she instantly opens her eyes, kind of bolts up as she hears Kalea. Mira, we're with Burke right now. I think we need to talk as soon as possible. Burke has said a few things. You and Aidy make your way here?
We'll be there soon.
You don't get any additional message after that.
What was that? We'll be where? What? Did you say something?
We're being summoned.
Oh, was that Mom?
Yep.
Great. Okay, cool. We have to go now. That's
Yes. Yep.
okay.
I don't know what Burke told them, but
Burke's been saying shit?
apparently.
Oh, God, he cannot keep a fucking secret to save his life. Useless. All right, well, let's go.
Rip it off like a Band-Aid.
Mm-hmm. Yay. Pack up my things.
You pack a few things, make your way to Burke's house. Roll a wisdom saving throw, 80.
Nope, I'm going to use one of my advantages. Thank you, everyone, for those. 21.
Significantly better than the 10 you would have gotten a moment ago.
Okay.
21 is more than sufficient for you to keep your cool as you find yourself taking, at first, a very similar path that you had taken a few weeks ago when you were ambushed. It's unsettling, to say the least, and very quickly, as soon as it occurs to you, you divert off and find another, less direct approach. Mira takes note of this as well, creates even more tension in this already tense situation for the two of you. But eventually, you do find yourselves standing outside of Burke's relatively small home. It is a 2-story, but it's kind of sandwiched in between two other much taller buildings with virtually nothing of a garden to speak of. And you know that the top floor of the place basically just has, it does have indoor plumbing, which is nice, but it's basically just living or sleeping type quarters in the upper level, and then the bottom level is a living space and a kitchen. And as you stand out in front of it, waiting, steeling yourselves to go in, the door opens, and emerging from the door, you see your father. Varric has nothing but a soft, loving smile on his face. You can see that he is a little bit disheveled, a little bit road-weary. They probably literally just got into town, gauging what he looks like at the moment. But that's also not too uncharacteristic for him. He doesn't often tidy himself up unless it's to go into one of his libraries or studies, or to do his studies. And as he emerges from the doorway, he quickly starts making his way towards the both of you and has his arms spread wide as he approaches you. You can see quite clearly that he has a bit of an emotional expression. And Aidy can sense relief and love pouring all through him.
Aidy absolutely starts crying and gives him a big old hug, sort of forgetting for the moment the definite weight of the situation and what she imagines will be difficult in just a few moments. But I think, yeah, and she's just really glad to see her dad.
Mira goes forward too and gives him a hug.
How is she in doing this?
It's genuine. I think it's easier to be upset with someone that you love from afar. And so I think seeing him really makes her realize how much she missed him.
Mm-hmm. You're only hugging for just a few moments before basically almost bowling the three of you over. Burke comes rushing out as well. He's very much like a younger version of your father, has that same kind of general demeanor and pleasantness about him, and just immediately wraps all three of you up in a hug as well. So it's basically Burke on one side, Varric on the other, and the twins kind of sandwiched between them. And you can definitely feel a sense of relief coming from Burke, Aidy. And he leans down into Mira and just whispers very, very quietly into her ear. I didn't tell them really much, but they seem to know something's wrong, just so you know.
She'll give a tiny nod.
And as you all kind of release from the hug, you turn and look and see Kalea slowly making her way down as well. She is much more composed than perhaps the male members of your family, and she slowly makes her way towards all of you. And as you all separate, Varric kind of steps to the side a bit, and she also extends her arms and approaches the both of you. And she has full intention of hugging you and bringing you in, but it's very clear that she sees the bruising upon Mira's face, and she doesn't finish the hug. She stops, and she's staring at Mira, and her hand just goes up and gently, ever so gently, with only the kind of care that a mother's touch can provide, cups Mira's face. And you can see plainly upon her, in her expression, horrific worry as she looks at you. You okay?
No.
Her face tightens. There is no smile, but there's also no frown. And she just immediately grabs you and pulls you in and just clutches you tighter than perhaps you've ever felt her before.
I think Mira just stands there for a minute before she returns the hug. Kalea's never been an overly affectionate person. And so I think it takes Mira off guard a little bit.
After a few moments of the hugging and the silence, Leia does reach an arm out and grabs onto Aidy and pulls her into the hug as well.
She'll hug back.
Aidy feels the emotions of everyone around, but after embracing Kalea, she really focuses in on what Kalea is feeling. Everyone else is like the power of Kalea's emotions, and in that close proximity just kind of pushes everyone else's emotions away. And she's able to tell very, very clearly that Kalea is scared. She's masking it with all kinds of other emotions. And anyone that was looking at her would probably not be able to feel it. But Aidy does.
Why don't we go inside and we can talk?
Kalea separates and nods and says, "That's yes, we should." And she actually takes both of your hands in hers, standing in between you, and leads the both of you in, with your brother and father falling in behind. You can very clearly feel that her grip is not anything more than just pure affection. And she leads all of you in. As you all make your way in, you see that there is a table set. There's some food on it, the like biscuits and fruit and some vegetables and cheeses and the like. There doesn't appear to be anything cooking in the kitchen, so there's no like full-on dinner prepped kind of meal seeming to take place, but it's very apparent, given what you know of Burke, that he probably didn't have a hand in doing any of this. And Mira is bracing herself to see Victoria like come around a corner, but Victoria does not emerge. As the lot of you, the Tavish family, make your way in, Burke kind of moves out to the side, heads over to the table, and just starts filling up glasses, water from a carafe on the table and that sort of thing, and goes to sit. Your mother just stands there kind of in the center of the room, and you can feel almost a tremor in her hands before she lets go and takes a deep breath, moving over to the table. Your brother pulls a chair out for her. She sits. Your father closes in behind and sits as well. What do the two of you do?
Great to see you both. Of course. This was the Nostromo. I mean, I don't really know how else to, start this conversation or, but all of that on her face right now, clergy. So let's talk about that.
Your father's jaw kind of drops and his mouth goes agape, and he's just staring. He apparently hadn't even noticed the bruising at first, and is now like hyper focused on Mira, and he's like half floating out of his seat but like restrains himself. Alea has a very angry expression on her face. And Burke is just standing there, like half pouring water, stopped, like mid-pour, eyes wide open, just staring at the two of you. And they seem to all be very much focused on Mira and are kind of waiting.
I'm gonna grab Aidy's hand and give it a squeeze and just lead her over to the table and sit down.
She'll let it happen.
She's right. This is what the clergy does.
Alea just kind of shakes her head. She looks Mira directly in the eyes. This is what zealots do. We're
And
not zealots.
Where do zealots get their worldview, Mother?
Misinterpretations of many things. And horrific people doing horrific things. But if you ever think that I or your father would do something like this, please tell me that you do not think that we would be capable of such.
Maybe not yourselves, but the institution you work for, the secrets you deal in, the times that you turn a blind eye when it's someone else. Is it possible to work for a corrupted institution and not become corrupted yourself?
There's a long silence in the room. You've experienced a lot. I want to know every detail. All of it. I want to know who specifically hurt you. And I want to know why they did it. Not because of who they are, not because of you, because they need to be stopped.
The Nostromo aren't new.
No.
They've been around.
Yes.
And presumably you've known about them. So, I mean, I see you getting, excited right now, but if Mira wasn't sitting here with her face beat to shit, what then?
Not everyone approves of what is being done. And every year that goes by, there is a rising tide of people that wish to see this zealotry put to an end. Change is not easy, especially for the clergy.
What about the rest of the clergy? The ones that aren't, extremists, but the ones that still perform virtue trials and shun the cursed. What about Caden?
Your brother. Well. But yes, he is preparing himself for a virtue trial. As she says that, the two of you can very clearly see your father's expression change to almost a wince of pain. And she continues. We are supporting him because that's what he wants.
Can you support this?
No.
And I'll let some lights go.
She is responding, and then her voice cracks as you produce magic. She's stunned. Her father immediately stands up, stares at you. He doesn't seem as stunned as your mom. He walks over to you, tentatively goes to place a hand on your shoulder, seeing what you do.
I'll let him.
As he places the hand on your shoulder, there is a tight squeeze of affection. He just says, "How long?"
I think a better part of a decade.
Ah. So that birthday with your friends from school when you were a teenager, that wasn't just someone pulling a prank on you?
No.
His expression kind of belies I had my suspicions, and he turns and looks over his shoulder at Kalea. Kalea and he share a look, him of I told you so, her of I couldn't believe it kind of glance.
But that's not the point here, okay? Like, that's obviously it's a part of it. But the point is that your colleagues, now we might not consider the Nostromo to be your colleagues necessarily if we're really going to be, dicing things up here, but
As you're looking at your father and you say that, your father actually looks at you with a very disapproving look.
but your normal colleagues, not all of them are okay with this.
No,
And how
we're not
long-
okay with this.
What now?
We don't approve of the name. Why do you think that we approve of that? Of their tactics?
Oh, them. Jesus Christ, Dad.
What are you
No,
talking
they're-
about?
I'm talking about there are people who are more like you within the clergy that wouldn't hesitate to, pierce my ears and call me cursed.
Well, yes, because that's what they were raised to believe. That's the only thing that they've known their whole lives. That's what edicts from centuries ago have claimed needs to be done. How would you
Okay.
go about untraining multiple hundreds of years of teaching?
I don't know. It's not my job.
No, it's not. But you can't expect everyone to just instantly be able to shake off such belief. Regardless of that, and places both hands on your shoulders, locks Aidy with his eyes. We love you. You know that. Let there be no doubt that no one is going to get the opportunity to pierce my daughter's ear.
What about those for whom it's already too late?
What about them, Mira? I'm not a hero. I can't snap my fingers and undo what awfulness other people do. I kind of looked into it at one point. It's not easy. And he does that kind of, deflection he's very, very well known for. As his
When he says, "I'm not a hero," her face crumbles a little bit.
he just half turns away from Aidy and turns towards Mira. Look, I'm sorry. That was insensitive. I know. I'm sorry.
You had a choice to fight. You had a choice to speak up. You have privilege and power. What have you done with them?
I mean, privilege, yes. Power is a whole other thing. Look, just because we don't cry from the rooftops at how awful something is does not mean that we don't speak to others that we work with about such things. It might be in a more intellectual way than those that are affected by it would want it to be. But I don't know what else to do. I don't have the answer. I have prayed on the answers many, many times. I have pored over every single book that there is, searching for answers to questions like these. And it's not as simple. All that. It's just not.
Mira's gonna pull out the diamond. Sometimes it is as simple as that.
He looks down at it, looks back up at you. I don't... Is that what I think it is?
What do you think it is?
That looks like the light of Orlumis. I've not seen one in person. I've only seen diagram. How did you get it?
It was a gift.
From. And before you can answer, your mother stands up and moves in behind him, places a hand on his shoulder, and he kind of steps to the side. And she's looking at Mira now. And she says, from Orlumis, I assume. Seems to be waiting for Mira to answer.
Not all of us are willing to wait for people to be ready to change.
So then you moved against the Nostromo, and that's what they did to you. Yes?
If standing up for a student who is being bullied is moving against the Nostromo, then yes.
Then I could not be more proud.
Well, we have a kind of unique opportunity here with the Nostromo sort of running rampant around Orlumis or Lustern right now. Why don't we do something about it? I mean, because you can't agree that the Nostromo are bad, right?
To say the least.
Yeah, okay. So let's get him out of here.
I think we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
She turns and looks at Mira. Steps very close to her. Meant what I said. You have suffered this with the kind of grace, care that I see in the woman before me. And I am unending Proud. He leans in for another hug.
That has always been the only thing I wanted. And I'm not sure it's enough anymore.
Does Mira back away from the hug?
I don't think so.
Mira does feel a surge of pride from Aidy, though, in that statement.
Then may I spend the rest of my years trying to be enough. And that's where we're going to call it tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. Thank you to my amazing players for all of the stellar role-playing that you all brought to the table. It was phenomenal, and I can't wait till we get to do it again.